Hi, so I have been playing Zelda The Wind Waker with my kids recently, and it's been a long time since I played this, and as I've been going through it now as an environment artist who's worked in the game industry for a few years now, it's really cool to look at this and go, oh my gosh, they're using that here and doing this method here, and it's so fascinating. I'm usually spending a lot of time like looking at the walls and UV seams and things, and my kids are like, come on, just play the game. So I wanted to just make a video going through a lot of these methods that are being used and just, you know, taking a good look at everything. I think it would be kind of cool. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump in. I don't really have much structure planned, but I'm just kind of planning on going through, looking at certain places. I'm going to pause the recording here and there so you don't have to, you know, go through me finding all this stuff. And I have Blender open as well. So here's Blender, and we can like look at some practical examples of what methods they might be using to get certain looks. But there's a whole lot of UV work, a whole lot of texture and stuff. I think it's fascinating. This is so fun for me to look and figure out. So yeah, without further ado, I will find the first place and pause the recording right now. Okay, so first place, let's look around the starting island and see what we can find here. Something I noticed about the HD version is sometimes the colors are like really blown out, and I don't know if it's just my monitors and TVs and stuff, but it's like they took this, you know, unlit shaded game, and like some of the lighting just blows out some of the colors. Like this sand, I can hardly see it. It's maybe I need to turn HDR on, but no, HDR wouldn't fix this. Yeah, it's kind of sad. Some things get so blown out, but I don't know, overall it looks better. Okay, so here's the first thing that I found. So they do this all over the place. There's a blatant seam right down, you know, following the edge. So one's an obvious one. They'll have a texture that's just this, they've got this wall texture going on. You can see it repeats pretty, you know, regularly, so there's not a whole lot of variation. It's not a very big one. And at the very top of it, they'll just have that one strip, and yeah, just kind of UV all of their like ledges and things to that bit. They'll probably like where they have this bit here, this will be, you know, square, and they'll UV these off as like square, and once those are set in place, then they could like unwrap you know, the rest of it to just kind of follow straight down or something. So that's a possible idea, although it is interesting. They have you can see the grass here, and I don't think they have the grass down here as well, so I wonder how they're doing that. So maybe they have two different textures, where one is like a smaller one, like you can see they're doing it a bit here. Yeah, so they could have like a smaller strip of this rock texture, and then have like another version of it that's just a bit longer, and then they can probably pick and choose, you know, depending on the width and how much stretching they need, perhaps. Yeah, I don't know, that could be one thing. Okay, so let's try and make a quick example of this. I'm gonna take a picture of this and make a quick texture of that way. I think that'll be faster. I'm just gonna try and hack something in Photoshop. Just gonna let Link die. resize this thing. Just try and get something. It's gonna be a mess. Okay, that'll do for now. Now I'll just crap the grass. Yeah, take a picture of that. Now try and somewhat fit it up. It's not going to be a perfect fit, and I didn't really expect it to be, but now I'm being all perfectionist about it. Can't go back now. And now get that just right. Yeah, it's good enough. Cool, so we got a cliffside texture. This is really good enough. Well, that's cool. I just found out you can go to view pattern preview and it shows you all the tiling. Very cool. Whoa, no way! This is amazing. I didn't know Photoshop had this. Nice. Okay, there's a tip for you. Turn on the pattern preview thing and paint on the seams. That's crazy. I know I shouldn't be getting perfectionist over a demo, but I can't help it. Just take some of that away. Oh yeah, there's the clone brush. I really need to just leave this alone. Okay, I'm calling it good. I'm calling it good. We are going to... Oops, not that one. Just export this as PNG. Be done. See, I already did it once. It's good now. Okay, so we're just gonna make a quick little cliffside, I think. Okay, just gonna keep going around. Let's call that good. Fill the top. Do an inset. Probably fine. We'll start adding some seams now. We'll just... Oopsies. Add seams everywhere. Make a new material real fast. Oh, if Blender will work. There we go. Cliffside. Cliffside? There we go. Add the texture. There we go. Add that on. Turn on Eevee. Oh boy. Okay, let's go into our UV editing. And let's see what we got here. So we don't have to worry about these faces right now. We can just hide those, I guess. And then, yeah, so let's start mapping this. I'm just going to select this, hit U, unwrap. Yeah. Well, that works, but I wonder if maybe it's better to do the top one first. Just hit unwrap. Oh boy. Let's see. Nope, never mind. I'm going to pin this and then hit U, unwrap like that. There we go. I'm just going to select this top. I think I'm going to select that top one. Well, with UVs, I think in this case, with a lot of Wind Waker's stuff and a lot of games, you just want to gridify everything. That did it. Fancy, fancy. Okay, and then I'm just going to shrink everything down on the 3D cursor like so. And get it all right on top like that. There we are. We could pull this UV line up as well to match that top right there. And I think that's pretty much how they're going about doing it. So they might be a bit more strategic with the placement horizontally. I don't know. We can always mess around with that. And we can get the tiling just right, probably. Let's see. So those two look the same. So if we just stretch them a bit. Yeah, there we go. It looks like one big happy family. And then in the middle, we would just stick like a tile and grass texture. Let's do that. Okay, so as I'm looking to take a picture of the grass, I'm noticing something else too. It's not just one tile and texture. It looks like they probably have an atlas of like patches, because they have these like light spots. Find a less shadowy area. So you can see the light spot here. It's a lot lighter here, darker, and then lighter again. So they probably have like an atlas, just maybe they just have one, but I'd assume they probably have, to keep the texel density, they probably have like a big, medium, small, and then regardless of if it's stretching to be in like a triangle like these, can't really tell. At least back then, you know. So that's probably something what they're doing. Kind of cool. Oh, gotta wait for it to be sunny again. Come on, sun. Here comes the sun. Okay, and also getting the path as well. This will be cool to put together. Alright, grab my grass. Let's try and make this square or something. I don't know if I can do this. Oh boy, this is gonna be bad. Won't stop us though. This is beautiful. Alright, well, good for demonstration. I am learning some very crazy things right now. I've never tried to stretch an image in the weirdest of contortions ever in my life, and now the possibilities are endless. Kind of. Beautiful. Yep. But the question is, does it tile? Oh, I can't do pattern preview for some reason. It tiles beautifully. Yikes. What have I done? Oh, this is not good. Yeah, whatever, we'll just save that, because that's all we need. Okay, and lastly we have the path. Let's get this as straight as we can. Here goes nothing. Oh yeah. Easy. Look, it already tiles twice on this, so we don't even need the whole thing. There we go. Good enough. Let's see if it tiles. Kind of. I think I'll just stretch it. Probably. Let's see. Right there? Yeah. Something like that. That'll do. Yeah, just trying to get rid of some of that stretching. I think I'll just brute force this tiling thing. There we go, just paint it out. Getting a bit closer. Alright, good enough. Just kidding, lol. Okay, now I think it's good enough. I think. Okay, so you could add these kinds of details to on like a big atlas or trim sheet, where you have all these like different paths and, you know, different long strips of tiling textures, and there's a ton in Wind Waker. I'm sure they have. I haven't looked at any of the extracted textures and stuff. Maybe I should have just grabbed those. But I bet they're just doing stuff like this. Anyway, yeah. So if we wanted, we could put more details here if we feel like we needed them. Like, it could be other just strips of grass meeting path, or you know, grass meeting other elements, rock or wood or something. So you just have long strips like that. That's called a trim sheet. We still do trim sheets today. In fact, you can't make an optimized environment without trim sheets, or be time efficient. So, oh boy, well, here we go. How are we going to map this? We need to make two of the materials for the textures that we just made: the grass patch and the strip of path. So there's another one. Add this and create that one there, and then we'll just rename these: grass patch, path. Path, we need to find path trim PNG. And grass patch, we need to find where is it? Grass patch. So let's open grass patch over here. Cool. Yeah, love to dig into the actual textures and actually see how they did it. In fact, maybe if I can find some of those ripped files and stuff, I'd love to dig into that. So maybe I'll do that after we've made all of our guesses and see what we were right and what we weren't right about. Assign these faces to the grass patch, and look at that, it's already looking closer. So this, we could probably just take this and unwrap that and get it. Maybe we'll just force the UVs, something like that. Oh man, maybe not that. Okay, put a line right there, an edge. Let's try this. Unwrap. I think you can do like unwrap to bounds or something. Oh well, I'm just gonna be lazy about it. Let's get the middle. Rotate that, turn off this. Something in it. Maybe I'll pin this and then unwrap both of these and that'll, there we go. Yeah, I want to see what grass stuff they have going, but maybe I shouldn't be spending too much time doing this because we just created a path as well. So maybe we should make the path first. I'm going to be lazy about it. Okay, I'm just going to make a line where I want the path. Something like that. Yeah, cool. And then I'm going to do Control B just to bevel that. Probably turn off loop slide. Yeah. Alright, it's good enough. And then assign the path texture to that. And do an unwrap. And then let's do, whoa, not UV Packmaster, UV Toolkit. And we'll do Gridify. Change this. And I would love more tools to be able to scale and distribute the UVs evenly. So like, you know, fill it or do half the amount horizontally. Stuff like that would make this fantastic. But for now, we can just do pivot point to 2D cursor and then scale X 0. And then we can move. Where is it? You could do the 2D cursor and move it here, but I think there was another one. Where is it? Align UV cursor, there it is. So we'll just do this to middle, center like that. Magic UV toolkit. Magic UV, I think it just comes with Blender. But anyway, we'll just take those and, whoa, there we go. So now, they are straight. I'll put that back. Oopsies. I guess we should probably save this because that would suck. And yeah, so that looks good. It's moving along. Now we can just, you know, pull this up and down as needed. And that looks about right. Let's turn off overlays. Yeah. Very cool, very cool. So obviously we would have to do some like color matching and stuff for the grass, but it's okay. Okay, looks like we've got some bleeding, so we need probably just to shrink it in for now, but yeah, we would have some like padding on the texture sheet originally, so not have this white background. And that's why we do padding. So I will pad it manually. Oh, look at that. We're kind of getting white up there too, so well, whatever, it's gone now because we just moved the UVs. Yeah, so I guess we could like hack an end to this if we wanted. We'd just turn overlays, yikes, back on. And let's see, I'm just gonna cut right here and have somewhere for these to go, direct that. And then on the UV, we just take this, rotate it, 90? Nope. Rotate, 90, there we go. Move it just right. Probably do a unwrap, and then just flip it. Beautiful. Let's move it a little bit. What am I doing? 2D cursor. Stretch it. So I see that they do this a lot in the game. We can stretch it a little bit more maybe, or we can mess around with getting that just right, but I see like these color differences sometimes. I mean, what can you do? Let's flip it. Actually, first, maybe it would be good to just scroll up and down, see what options we have. It's kind of hard because we have got that vignette at the side of the road. We'll turn that over. .2D cursor again. So at a glance, this is fine. You know, if you're looking at the big picture, you can't even really see it. So, yeah, that's a good hacky way to do that, I think. But yeah, now we have all these that would add like the patches with. Yeah, I really think they must have patches. Probably some tiling, a mix between tiling and those patches. But you'll be able to see the UV seams in the game easily. Okay, so I'm just adding some edges so we can more betterly distribute the UVs right. I don't think we're going to get a pretty result, but we'll do what we can. We'll turn on the grass patch again. Let's find a good orientation for this. Maybe put that back. Oops. Oops. Anyway, I think you get the point. Yeah, it would be good to see what they're doing with these grass patches, but in the game that's exactly what it looks like. So it's cool that they're just kind of adding all this trim work to environments, and this is only one example. We'll come across others, but yeah, this was kind of cool to put together. Let's go find where else they are doing this kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, look at the buildings that they have. Like, there's so much trim work here. I'd love to break apart this kind of stuff. So yeah, like imagine just a texture sheet that has like all these different wood plank variations, just stripping all the way across the texture sheet, and you just map these, you know, planes to those. And then you got a bunch of wood. Yeah, everywhere they've got planks at the bottom. I'm pointing at the bottom here, all over the trim. That's probably the most complicated part of all this. Make sure those edges like line up really well. Then yeah, you know, you got a tile in texture here, and all this could be in one texture sheet. It would make sense to have just like one material, but it could be two. I don't know. Again, you could probably find this out if you look at the ripped files, but I just thought it'd be cool to try and reverse engineer what's going on. Anyway, so you got this, I guess it's like a 3. Yeah, and they have like, so they have this thing here. The end, is that the same here? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it looks like the same, just flipped. So that's cool. Yeah, it's really cool how creative they get with, you know, the limitations. I think it's so cool. Getting the edges and the edge wear to line up and stuff. Very, very cool. Same thing here on the fence. just make a cap and just line your posts up to a trim that has good edge stuff, so it doesn't look like just complete separate UV or seams. Oh look, and there's some patches here. When I was doing the Twilight Princess remake environment that I did, I was looking at I pulled the ripped version of that map, and all the materials, the textures and the models came through. And they were doing this in Twilight Princess as well. Just taking things like this and just stretching them over the ground and yeah, calling it good. Yeah, you can see right here is where the seams are. Kind of cool. I like it. The waves and stuff too. With my last job at Space Station Animation, we were doing a beach and I had to try and figure out like, well, how does the waves come up on the shore, and we're rendering this in Blender. And I was looking at the Animal Crossing New Horizons, and it looks like they're probably doing a similar method here. So they'll have a UV plane or a material or something that is just, you could probably combine like different UV sets. In the material, you'd have all this animation going through where you're just scrolling the UVs down. Yeah, they'll just have like a plane all the way across the shore where it's just this long strip, this long trim that's animating. So you got the wave texture. Oh, I'm just pointing, it's making no difference. So you got the same wave texture twice, just overlapping. You got one running that way and one running this way, and obviously the UVs would just keep on scrolling down. Got something going on there when it like backs up. That's different. Yeah, there's a lot of work on the shoreline. Kind of cool. Yeah. Yep. More tiling and trim here. It's on the bottom of this, probably the same thing. Yep. Yeah. So I bet if you looked at the texture, it would unwrap like this, and then that's all they would have, because right down here it looks like just pretty blank seam right there. Oops, I'm dying again. The things you do to study environment art. Oops, I just died. Let's see if we can count the amount of textures or materials that they're probably using here. We've got the rock, the tiling rock texture. We have the wood. Maybe all the wood is in one text sheet. Yeah, I don't know. So you got 1, 2, maybe 3 or 4 as well with the buildings and stuff. You got grass and path 5. It's possible that the path and the grass is just all one big texture. You got the leaves here, and I bet there's just one material or two or something with just all of the grass, like all of the plants and the leaves and stuff that blow. That'll be like one material. And probably 2 different materials, because this probably vertex displacement here. Maybe. Probably different than the grass though. Actually, I don't know. So what? Like 8, and then we've got, oh, is that texture the same as the roof here? Yes it is, so it's probably the same one. So maybe like 10 materials possibly in this whole island. More rocks. Got these boat textures, and I saw that they were using these on the buildings as well, which, that's cool. Let's have a look. Oh, maybe not. They're the same details, but they could definitely be on, well, maybe not. Having a wood material. Yep, the trees. So I don't know, I'd say around a dozen materials tops they have in this whole island, which is so cool. You don't have all these, you know, all these unique texture bakes and things. You've just got all these tiling textures, all these trims that are just tiling horizontally and stuff. repeating everywhere. It's amazing the stuff you can make with, you know, that limited amount of textures. So really cool. I love learning about all this stuff. Okay, I think we'll go to a different island. Windfall Island. Let's see what we can look at here. Don't really have to say much about this dock. Pretty self-explanatory. Now this is a little more interesting. It's like they've got this tiling thing here. So all these squares and things, but then at the side, it looks like one consistent, just one texture, but I'm wondering where the cutoff is for that. Because it looks like they've painted in the shadow there too, which is kind of cool. So yeah, I wonder if... yeah. But I mean, they obviously have like a top tiling texture. This one's really stretched. I wonder why. This one's pretty obvious that it's just a seam right on the corner. This one, not so much, and this is what was showing on that side too. Oh, it could be, I wonder, it could be that they made this section like tile constantly. Or maybe just one way, like horizontally or something. Let's see. Well, this doesn't repeat. Okay, I gotta like find what repeats and what doesn't. Okay, so we have these patches of like moss. And those are the same ones here. So it looks like you've got this square here. Oh, so right here it looks like this is where it cuts off. And this is where you can see like these lines where Link's standing on right now. That matches up with the side of this. So it's seamless. So it looks like it tiles along this way. And they really stretched this. Because this one's a lot shorter, and then they probably just cut it off early. Where it made sense. Let's see, like right. They cut off right here. Very cool. Very cool. I think. Yeah. This grass patch right here. So yeah, that looks pretty simple, although that looks like it kind of matches up too. Is that just by chance? I don't know. Anyway, that looks like it's tiling horizontally. Yeah. Okay, let's find something else. Looks like the same path texture, just repeating everywhere, that we used on Outset. Now it's cool to also notice and point out that even though they have like all these different textures and things that they're just tiling everywhere, they do a good job of making sure that contact points don't look like, you know, just cut and paste seams and stuff. Like they have this grass here to blend it in. And I think that's so important to making it feel cohesive. So this texture, it looks slightly darkened from Outset. So that's easy enough to do in a material. But then on this, they have the same grass color. We probably just set out and said this is the color of grass, so then everything will blend easily. And then put it all over this, you know. Looks like from here to here is where this bit tiles. This wall bit. But yeah, it marries it together. And one thing my leader Epic told me a lot was to try and marry elements together. Like, what is that contact point? What unifies them? And the grass here makes it look, you know, like it's all cohesive. This is, if everything looks like how these steps look, everything would feel really off and a little janky. But yeah, they have stuff like that grass a lot. And there it is again. They've got like a cliffside with grass or moss, and then they have a wall piece with the same grass. So keeps it cohesive, and yeah, looks nice. I love this little doorway here because, oh, look at that. Okay, I just noticed that that grass that we were looking at earlier, that's a decal. I mean, we use decals all the time now, but I don't know why I didn't think of it. So on this bit, you can see it's poking out just a little bit. If it was like flat up against the plane, that's what you get called Z-fighting, where it looks glitchy like that. But yeah, they have this like slightly offset. Oh look, there it is. There it is. So it's slightly offset, and bam, there you go. You got your decal, and you can stick that wherever you want. So yeah, decals are helpful. Do I need to cover that? I don't know. Maybe I will in another video or something. Decals, basically just get something with a transparent background and just stick it wherever. Bullet holes usually are decals. So just little textures that you can plaster anywhere. So they just have the grass everywhere. But I don't think the grass on the floor is a decal. No, that definitely looks like it's part of the path. And they're using that same path absolutely everywhere. They get really creative on these corners though. Look, they're doing exactly what we did. Just kind of hacking it together, and see that blatant seam there, but most people aren't looking with a scrutinizing eye like that. So I don't think, is that a decal? It could be that they're using a decal right here. It looks like a different textile density. The bricks, or whatever it is it wood? Maybe it's... I can't tell. I mean, it's on a stone structure, but is it wood? Yeah, looks like they're probably using that decal there too to help blend it in. Good for them. Then we have a lot on the stone structure as well. So they've got, you know, they'll just be right here. Simple enough. Probably don't need to do this. You should probably tell anyway, but yeah, they're just like insetting like that. And then having a tiling texture go all the way around. Something with the stretching though, you can probably stop this if you did something like well, a couple ways. You could just move it like this and move individual vertices so it doesn't stretch anymore. So that's an idea, or you could add like another line here to just keep it straighter. And then you've got just this tiny bit that'll stretch, and the rest of it can be a lot more relaxed. So that's something you could do for the trim stuff. Like right here, it's stretching pretty bad, so I'd probably just add another loop here. But I guess if you can't fix it with, oops, if you can't fix it like that, because it's making the other side stretch too, then yeah, I'd probably just add like a little triangle. And then just close it off there. Is that bad? Oopsies. Yeah, I don't know. Something like that. Minimize the stretching, but it's still pretty bad here. Anyway, enough on that. Oh no, I broke it. I don't know what to do. Yep, I broke it. And we're back. The trim around the door is a bit obvious. They don't really do any blending here. I mean, I don't think for a lot of like structural and stone things you have to. This is a bit abrupt, but I think for me, I'd probably just like poke this out a bit, so then there was like a bit of a lip. Then it didn't look so like just flat cut out, but whatever. Don't tell Nintendo what to do. The stairs, so they have that decal going all the way up. Yeah, should have seen this first. I would have been like, oh yeah, decals, obviously. But then the steps too, looks like, yeah, they just, I don't think they even have it, yeah, they don't even have it tile horizontally here. Oh well, whatever. But yeah, there's obviously just a little bit, probably on a big texture sheet full of all these details that they just kind of slap everywhere, all these stone details. So they'll just have the stair, then the bottom lip, and looks like they've just got the one, or maybe two. Can't tell. Whoa, it's so blown out. Steps again, except these ones are slightly different. And then, oh, nice. Just having like a triangle of detail here, so you can just fill in random shapes like this. Oh, just model in your triangles and just plop this texture inside each triangle and it looks fine. Good trick. It's just amazing to see all these things. It's all UV stuff. It's all just like texture atlases and just placing your UVs everywhere. And I just think that's so cool. Man, they've got creative with these. You know, thinking now of like how the textures are made, how the paths, sorry, were made. Look at this, you have to find all the... Can you imagine being the guy just like, okay, I've got to like... I've got to make all these paths look like one big, huge path. But the path is what has the... Like, you couldn't just have like a tiling texture all the way down and then just do like what you would do nowadays. I don't know, you'd probably do some like texture blending with like vertex colors or something, where you just have like grass and you blend it into the dirt. But man, they went nuts with this. It's awesome. I love it so much. Yeah, so here's the wood texture, I guess. Wood steps. I wonder how many variations they have. So they have this top one, there's a stripe down it. They have this, it's got two. That one is the same as this one. That one is the same as this one. So it looks like they have two that they're kind of flipping. Maybe three. And then this top one looks different. Unless it's the same as one of these. It might be. I don't know. So maybe 2 or 3 steps. Instead of unwrapping the whole thing. Like I see people who are making environments, you know, thinking they can just unwrap the whole thing and make just this like a big stair texture. And it's like 2K by 2K texture. And it's like, sheesh, nope. Nope. That's impractical. Yeah, trim here. There's one just running all the way across. Maybe not even, doesn't even tile really well here, so make that tile a bit better and that would be good. Good creative work there, look at that scene. And yeah, looks like, oh, I see what they did. So they have the trim here and they extended it up and this will be like the cutoff point. Is that part of the same thing? No, that's a seam right there. So this thing together is one and this will be another. Well, is that a seam? I don't know. Then you got these little blocks too. Oh man, yeah, we gotta go to Hyrule Castle real fast sometime soon. Found a really crazy thing in the Hyrule Castle where they're just like taking the same square detail and putting it all over the castle. It's so funny. It's really good. Yeah, so I think this is what I was looking at before, was this whole thing. I wonder if that's actually the same as... Is it the same as this thing up here? That could be the same. If it is, that's very creative. Oh, they have it at the top, so I guess... I'm an actual nerd. I think... Yeah, I think it could be. Maybe, I don't know. But you could. And then you've got your side trim here. Oh look, they've got the same thing as up there. And they've got the same thing here, just long strips of... Ah, crap. Yep, just long strips of trim like that. I think we're good up there now anyway. Moving on. I noticed with the wood planks a lot, for like the edges, they'll like darken the edges, so then you could use them in like a long strip perhaps. Or it at least like makes like a nice edge. However, you'll see just with like edges, you'll highlight the edge. And they like add in the darkening thing, and I wonder if that's just to, like if you wanted to make like a long, you know, like this thing up here. Could be a similar thing, but oh, look at that. Missed one. But it's a good thing they're not perfectionists because they meet deadlines. I'm not gonna say unlike me, but it's going to. Well, this grass to edge isn't as not as polished as the Outset Island one, but yeah, looks like just tiling grass texture, and then oh, we have the side of the cliff, so we'll just add, and that's not a decal, that's part of the texture, it's the same textile density, so yeah, that looks like, let's do a side cliff texture and run it all the way down. Yup, yup, yup. Look at that. This will be a long strip of just all the squares. It's not one huge plane here. This will be one detail. This will be another detail on a sheet. Let's see if we can spot those ones. So this and this. Yep, right here. Yeah, and this is like really stretched. Look at those stones. Oh, what's Link doing? The hanky-panky. Link doing the hanky-panky. And then these are like super stretched, so it's been like squished all the way down. And yeah, that looks like the same as this. Which is also the same as this. And then, yep, just repeating blocks all the way down. It's all UV work, all trims. All trims. And it's so cool what you can do. So cool. Now, I just want to throw in there, I guess it just came to mind. I was just looking at the ladder and thinking like, man, look how like they're probably using the same wood texture as like on buildings and stuff. And just thought, oh yeah, there's probably a difference in textile density. Like this is probably like, you know, dense in pixels because it's so small and they're using it on really big things perhaps. And, you know, if you're learning environment art, or I mean anything really, but you will more likely come across it in more commonly in environment art. Worrying about textile density, making sure that a certain amount of pixels or textiles per inch or meter, unit, whatever, there's some stress about that, but I've also been told like don't worry about it so much. Like textile density isn't a huge thing as long as it's not like, you know, super apparent. And I think even for, you know, an old game like this, they do a pretty good job of like, some things are like low resolution, like you can see that here. And then you got higher resolution stuff. You typically want to have like a good, a more general, like uniform textile density. I bet those up there are just decals, which is cool. Yeah, those are decals, probably. And then we have the same details as the back building here. Oops, come on, there we go. Oh wait, can I just do this? There we go, easy. Yeah, so I wonder, are these the same as these that are just squished? I bet they are. Okay, yeah, so you see this little crossover bit here? Look what I found. Beep, beep, beep. So I think, yeah, it's just the same There's just they're squished all the way down. And you can hardly tell. I think for like indie stuff especially, tricks like this, they can go a long, long way. If you're playing like AAA stuff, obviously you expect something a lot higher quality. And they are doing, you know, they're spending more time. You have more texture space for things like this. But man, like the amount of stuff, I forgot I could walk around in this. Ah, kids, go away. Children. But yeah, like the amount of work on this building is seriously made up of this fish thing, these trim things, which is the same as that, and like the stone stuff. And I guess you have this like plaster, or whatever you'd call that. And that's just all over the place, along with the wood. So to like make huge worlds for just a solo indie developer, it doesn't take that much texturing work. If you're strategic about how your textures and stuff look, you can make them look cohesive with just trims and things. And then you can put decals and stuff for like grunge if you wanted to tie things together a bit, and you know, like with the grass here. So yeah, a lot of things people will use decals for is things like grunge or like blood splats, you know, those will be decals on top of like tiling textures and stuff. Yeah, I think we pretty much wrapped up this island, it looks like. Yeah, I'd say so. Alright, I just want to look at these fences real fast. Nothing to note. Yeah, so I think we're good. Windmill's just made of a bunch of wood stuff. Simple enough. Yeah, really simple stuff. If you can get a good image of what you want your end product to look like, you can get a good list of the necessary materials you'll need. So like that red brick building, let's get a list of like, we'll need some, you know, good generic brick, some trim, another variation of the trim. Like that whole building is probably one texture sheet. I would be willing to bet that is one texture sheet. So maybe we'll look. Oh, look at this thing. That's really crazy. Wow. Wonder why they're doing that. Anyway, but yeah, it'd be cool. We could probably like dig up the ripped files from online and see if that's one texture sheet or not. But I bet it would be. The roof looks like it could be its own texture, and maybe it's the same. No, not the same as that. But using that roof everywhere. So yeah, moving on. Off to Dragon Roost Island. Oh yeah. You see it already? Same path texture, same grass as Outset Island. And probably, is that the same? No, that's a different. Ah, see, that's cool. So we have the Outset rock texture, and then we have this Dragon Roost Island texture. And look, here's the, that's cool. They have this little patch thing, and they've just smashed some path stuff in there. But we have like the Dragon Roost cliff side texture, so all those rocks, but the Outset Island texture was all gray and it had like longer lines. But at the very top, they have the strip of grass that they're using to, you know, transition it to probably the same grass as Outset Island, which is so cool. Yep. And then look at the stretching on this. Man, I need to just make more videos where I'm just looking at stuff and taking stuff apart, because I love doing this. And then my kids, when I play, they just want me to play all the time. Why would they want me to play all the time? I don't get it. I love Link's face on this game. His expressions are pretty funny sometimes. That mouth, I love it. It's that part in the story right before you find the bird girl with the harp, so we're gonna have to hear some harp stuff. I'll try and get away from it because it's kind of annoying. Sorry, bird girl, your playing is annoying. Okay, let's have a look at this. So we have, it looks like this inner hexagon, like forget the border around it, but the inside is, you know, that's one thing, one texture. And then, what? Yep. Well, so this border looks like probably one repeating trim. And then you have this tiling rock thing that they have everywhere and outside, and it's all over the place, stretching. Yeah. Or is that? Or is that part of this? So maybe they have this, like, they have this triangle border running all the way across, and I wonder if the rock, or this part right here, is part of that. Who knows? We'll find out, I guess. Then you got another tiling. So how many tiles are here? You got single uniform texture thing, one tiling, two tiling, three. I'll call them trims. Trims. So you got 3 trims. Oh, and then we have a different path. We have a rock path. And they are not worried about the stretching. Yeah, this is such a good resource to learn for like indie developers just making. You know, they need to make art fast, and this is such a good method. So it's fantastic. I love it. Oh, look at this. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Looks like, oh, the whole thing maybe? Anyway, so it's like they have a split line right down the middle. Do they have a split line? No, I guess they would have to. Yeah, so they've got this tiling. Oh, that's probably how they're doing it on the outset with the grass stuff at the bottom. Oh, that's cool. So, okay, they've got like the border, but they're inverting, they're mirroring the UVs, so they're just flipping them, so it's like overlapping UVs all the way up, and it looks cohesive because you don't get a seam when you mirror it like that. The color's the same. They just mirror, so if you can get away with it without, you know, some incredibly mirroring details, like it's like they're using this section here and just, that's so creative. I love that so much. That's so cool. Love it. Oh, there they are again with this. Maybe this is part of. Oh, is that the same thing? This trim right here, I think this border is the same as this thing. I think it is. Yeah. That's great. Yeah. Wow. That's so cool. So they have, it looks like from here all the way down, this is like one long strip. And then they're just using this border here. Because I was looking at this over here and wondering if this was separate. But yeah, this looks like part of it. That's so funny that they're just like copy and pasting it there. That's great. I love it so much. And then obvious seam right here. That looks like a seam. Yeah, that's not tiling well at all. And yep. Yeah. Wow. I would have, you know, you would have expected that something like this, they would have just like created a tiling thing, but they're just using this over and over again and just doing their best with making it tile. That's cool. So with this texture that they're using. Oh, so I guess this is like just, is this the same as everywhere else? All the other walls? But they're probably just using this on this bit right here. It's kind of hard to tell though because this is such a tiny sliver of a part of the texture. Here we have another trim piece, it looks like. Bird poop ledge or something. So you got that with the wood. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find the ripped files and just take apart like what textures they use where and see how they lay out their UVs, and that's so fun. I love it so much. Okay, now this is something I noticed when I was playing the game with my kids. This carpet thing, this rug, carpet, I'm pretty sure they only painted, well, yeah, I'm pretty sure they only painted 1/4 of this. And they're just flipping the UVs and unfolding it like origami. Because look at this, how it mirrors right here. and then you got the split, and they're making a whole rug from just like 1/4. So you got this bunched up bit in the corner. That's easy to see. Yeah, that's such a cool little hack. Very nice in these separate objects. Now, is that straw up there? So they created a different variation of this rock thing with rock wall with the straw, it looks like. So that's more texture space. To me, it seemed, I don't know, I guess maybe they wanted like the shadow detail on that, and they couldn't get that shadow at the time. But yeah, you'd probably just use like, it wouldn't be a decal, but you'd kind of treat it like a decal maybe. That straw just tile all the way down. Yeah, using the same tiling everywhere. I mean, sorry, tables. And we got these bricks going around the edges of everything. Yeah, very cool. I wonder how long this video is. I love that for the ropes. They just have like, yeah, they just have like the texture of just lines, and then they just UV that. They don't have like any, they're doing the same thing here, so they're just having all the ropes, but they've got just like a popped out cylinder to place that on. It's funny. Cool. Yeah, they're using the same like patches again, but rock patches. I don't know. For the steps. Cool. You can already see a lot in this room. This is the same as this, and these steps doing the same thing. Probably the same as those patches outside. And probably, yeah, they're doing some texture blending here, so having two on top of each other in a material and using vertex coloring to blend between the two. That's still used today. This whole thing is made up of just the same brick over and over and over on everything. The whole thing. And kind of hard to see, but on the wall, where the wall meets the floor, it just kind of cuts off, but it's at just the right color that you can't tell. It's a really nice transition of the screen space, ambient occlusion. Whoa. Excuse me. So yeah, I guess with a lot of environment stuff, it really comes down to like planning and seeing what elements you can get away with the same textures. It's kind of hard to just like set out and start making like a whole environment. It's like, okay, I need to make, you know, like you got these poles. Oh, where were they? Maybe they're down there. I gotta make these poles. I've got all these cliffs and stuff, and you know, Nintendo's been doing this for ever, and they're using the same methods and stuff that they've been using since, I mean, Nintendo Entertainment System, NES. Clear back then, they're doing the same things, just making it in 3D. So it's crazy to think. It's, if you play like, you know, any of the old like Mario games or something, it's clear that, you know, they're just using the same sprites and things all over the place, and 3D is no different. I think if you can make a huge sprite sheet type thing, trim sheet is what we call them, you can get away with so much. It's really cool. I don't know where I'm going. I guess there's not a whole lot new stuff to explore in this. I mean, it's the same methods over and over again. Just trying to find some other interesting examples. Yeah, let's head back. Oh yeah, these are helpful. Anything cool here? Different? Probably not. Alright, let's go back home. So another thing that comes to mind as well, with a lot of these like flat details, like think of like a roof with a bunch of, just a tile roof. Like you know, how do you make it look not so flat when you're just using these textures and things? Like, you know, people will want to make a unique texture for something like a roof because you can like bake all these cool shapes, and sometimes you probably want to. But for larger scale things, you can still get away with tiling textures. If you, like for example, if this, I mean, even if you look at like the walls right here, they could have made it a little bit more interesting by like cutting things out. So like once you've laid down the planes, you get to this far. You get this far with like laying your UVs out and stuff. And then to add extra detail, thinking of like the wood, the roof tiles, if you cut out some tiles after you've already UV'd your planes, you can cut some out, raise some up. I don't know if there's a whole lot of examples of that in this game, because this is very, like, they have a lot of flat, big, bold shapes, but I know in things, you know, you see games all the time doing it nowadays. But yeah, like, so I guess just take these wood planks. If this was just one long tiling texture, you just cut in the middle here and there, and you just break it off, and it's okay if you get some UV stretching, because at a glance, I mean, it looks fine. But yeah, you could cut into these and pull them out, push things in, and then you'd feel like you get a lot of variation going on. Wow, look at those seams. That's crazy. Wow, wasn't bad. Alright. Yeah, not much else to say in this place. Right. Back to where we started, or at least where we loaded the game up. Let's have a look at stuff here. So you got these little doorway, like almost keyhole type pieces. Looks like you could just, you know, take those and paste them everywhere. It's a pretty simple one to figure out. But yeah, just take this bit, and they're all over on all of the others. So, yep, that's one. Yeah, it's. Oops. We can't go back. Oh man. Can't go back to Hyrule Castle, but they had, yeah, they had pretty good details everywhere. Like just the same square detail plastered absolutely everywhere, on stairs, on like pillars, on walls, doorways, just the same square thing everywhere. So, yeah, it's really funny. You can get away with a lot. So. Yeah, I don't know if there's a whole lot else to show. I think what we've been through basically covers what you can do, you know, with everything. But I hope it's been cool to at least see this, and especially like building our own thing in Photoshop and Blender to help you find some application. You can look at all these, you know, older games and things and clearly see where they're using stuff, and we're using the same methods today in modern games. It just looks a lot fancier, we're using a lot more textures and things, but it's the same methods. Trim sheets are used everywhere. Anyone that doesn't know, any environment artist that doesn't know trim sheets is handicapped. You can't do your job well in the industry or keep things optimized if you're not using trim sheets and tiling everywhere. So, yeah. Just let me look at this island real fast. Yeah, I don't know if there's a whole lot to get from here, but same stuff, just a bunch of UV work and just placing it over everything. Oh, terrible UVs. And a lot of beginners will express that, you know, UVs are scary and stuff, but it's really, when you look at stuff like this, there's like no pressure. It's just like, okay, just what do you want this face to project? I want it to project these textures in this way. Okay, done. So, yeah. And then one last comment probably to, like, you know, well, I don't know if it's super necessary. I'll just say it anyway. So you've got you've got trim sheets, you've got tiling textures, you've got decals to kind of help place things together, and then other stuff would be just like adding small little like mounds of like dirt and rubble and stuff on the side of like cliff things, you know, depending on what art style you need, you know. All these things help tie stuff together, and especially with like screen space, ambient occlusion, which are, you know, we're using a lot. That's a standard now. You can see it in the corners and stuff. All these elements help tie things together and make it feel like it's all in one thing. I'm not explaining myself very well, but yeah, so it's nice to see some practical examples of a game that's, I mean, this game is gorgeous, and it was definitely caught the eye of the public when this was first released. Such a different, unique look. But yeah, I think a lot of like indie developers could get away with a lot with not that much work. And it's just, it helps to be able to break these things down and see how much work it actually takes. If you can be strategic with your trim sheets and tiling textures, you can make a lot of work with that. Anyway, that's good. So that was fun. I like geeking out stuff like that. And then I'll probably come across some other cool things, but I don't know if it'll be anything different than what I've already showed on here. So I'll probably geek out about stuff while I'm playing it with my kids some more. But yeah, maybe I'll do this with other games too. Just kind of spot the processes and things. It's fun to do that. Education. Oh yeah, we're gonna look at the actual like ripped files, but whoa, Blender has these thumbnails now. That's crazy. What? Look at that thumbnail. I can see what's in the file. That's crazy. Wow. We're doing it. 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 Okay, gotta unzip, extract here. Yes. Ho ho ho. Oh man, maybe I should have done it in a file folder. Okay, here we go. We got the textures now, but let's pull in the model into Blender. Okay, can't see anything. There it is. Just let's change the view. Plane. 10. 1000? Nope. Let's add another 0. Nope. Let's add another 0. There we go. Ah, yes. Here we go. Oh, here come the textures. Aha. Okay. I wonder how many materials we have. Oh, look, we can see. Look at that. Look at all the materials, and we're not even counting the... Whoa, dude. What in the world? We've got some alpha stuff problems, it looks like. Alpha blend. Whoa, man. I don't know what all this is. Oh, there we go. Okay, we can just turn off that show back face. Yikes. That's not good. Oh, I think, never mind. I don't know why it's doing that. Huh. But I am turning on turning off show back face on all of these. It seems to be helping, but it might be just because I bet this is it. There we go. There we go. That's it. Change the clip start. We could probably scale this whole thing down to scale 0.01. Oops. Scale 0.1. Oh, cool. And I bet this is like... I bet the origin point is per like chart, like the C grid that they have. Anyway, there we go. Okay, let's have a look at this. Ah, yeah. Not done yet. Whoa, man, look at this pole. I wonder what is... That's great. And this is probably from the GameCube one, the HD version. But, okay, let's have a look. So there we go, we've got these split faces here. Let me try doing a... Okay, there we go. Alt-J will take some away, so it might not be perfect detriangulation, but we can at least get a cleaner look at what's going on. So, yep. Oopsies. There we go. So, I think how a lot of rips will work is if meshes will be separated per material for some reason. Either per material or per UV. So we'll see. But anyway, yep, this is exactly what's going on. Not that that was really hard to tell. This looks like a ripping problem. That's not right. Oh, and that could have been my triangulation. Maybe we should keep the triangulation. Oopsies. Put that back. There we go. Yeah, let's not get rid of the triangulation then. Oh, but yeah, that's cool. So they've got this little split there running down. Yeah, okay. So let's look at what textures they're using first. So here is the folder that I've extracted, and I love that all the sea textures are in there too. Let me zoom this in real big. That is a control zoom, if you have wondered that. Windows 10. So yeah, they've got a rock. Okay. Right. Yeah, okay, let's just do the rocks first, real fast. Oh, come on. 256 by 256, at least for the GameCube one. So there's just the tiling rock texture. I assume it tiles. Let's just rearrange some things. Okay. And then we have this texture. Wow. So here we go. We can see we've got the different like size variations. That's something we talked about. This will be for like the small rocks and stuff they have just laying around the island, like this thing. Curious actually. Yeah, that does look like it, but let's just be sure. UV editing. Where is it? There it is. Yep, there it is. Okay. I wonder... Whoa, dude! Okay. That's cool. So here they're using this one. There. Very nice. I love that. Oh, that's cool. So yeah, they just have this... And it's all seamless on the texture at least. That's cool. Cool, I wonder what this is for. Will we ever know? Yeesh. Okay, I need everything that is just this material. Select similar material. Wow, they're not using this, but they are using this one. What is this one? What? Okay, hold on. Flip that. Maybe I can just separate. So it's just this material. Okay, cool. What is this? Oh, I see. Right, that's like a going. Got it. Actually, it is cool to be able to separate things like this. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Huh. Very cool. Yeah, so they really don't have very many materials at all. That's so cool. Very, very cool. Okay, what else do we have? Let's turn that off. So if I do select similar material. Okay. There we go. So there's our grass patch. Well, I guess they're just using everywhere. It's cool how they have it mapped out. Sometimes it's not very... 2 shades smooth. Does that look like poo-poo? No, it doesn't. Yeah. Cool. And then I guess, do they have trees there? I thought they had trees there. And the sand, wow, that's such a small section. So it looks like they just have all the ground things on one. Wow, look at that. This whole thing right here is that this? Yeah, wow, that's crazy. Man, sheesh. And then, look at that. Is that just roof stuff? It's like double. Very weird. Why is it flipped like that, I wonder? Okay, and then... Oops. Shift G. It's like similar material. It's flipped on there too. Very interesting. Oh, and they have... The boats are on the same... Pretty sure the boats had this same... that texture stuff there. Yep, there it is. Wow. This is fascinating. So they've got a roof material and wood material. Cool, cool, cool. Well, this is different. Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, nice. So really not very many materials. I think 7 materials in total, and the majority of it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Super cool. And then this is its own little texture, I think. Oh no, never mind. Wait, maybe. Yeah, this is just its own little texture. Alright. Wonder how big that is. It's probably tiny. 128 by 128. Okay. Anyway. Now I think I'm done. This was a cool little geeky dive into it all. I hope you enjoyed it and gotten something. I hope this was educational for you. Yeah. This was fun. So, let me know if you liked it, and I'll go ramble on a different video. Bye bye.